First of all, we're all soulmates because there's only one spirit source, divine intelligence, God, whatever you want to call it, the universe. And all of our souls are actually one. But then, for the sake of our own understanding, we have to see them as separate. But we're all connected. We're actually one. But again, like for our own understanding, we have to see it as separate, like we have separate souls. And we're all soulmates. Yay. However, again, for our own understanding and this game that we're playing here, um, we separate uh, soulmates into soul groups. And those are souls that you kind of like reincarnate with together and you do work together and you're close to like the lessons that you're going through. And then there are some people that you meet that you immediately feel like you know them. You look into their eyes and they're just so familiar. And I've know that I've talked about this before in some video, maybe in my coffee mornings or something like that. Uh, but it's just like, see this person and there's something about them, like, ah. And usually uh, it's people that have different backgrounds, they look different, sometimes different ages. But that's the whole idea of soulmates, to wake you up to your soul. And the soul doesn't care about any of these external things and divisions because the soul knows unity, love, and oneness. And this is the whole purpose of soulmates, to wake up to this idea that our family is not the only one that's going to have our back, but we're one human family and we're close to strangers than we know. And sometimes when you need more extreme awakening, you can have a twin flame show up into your life, which is, a little bit more like, usually twin flames have the same childhood trauma. And in healing it, uh, and not just childhood, but like trauma from past lives as well, they get the gifts from it and can really evolve. So with soulmates, it's really cool because you meet your soulmates to help you on the journey, to wake up to the fullness and realization of who you are, and they help you live a more authentic life and get back to yourself if you were lost on the path. And at least for me, that's how it happened the first time I met somebody that made such a big difference in my life. Sometimes they can be friends that are just there to support you, but when it's in a romantic sense, sometimes um, it's more powerful. And you just start to have memories about this person and you feel like you've known them before. And uh, all of a sudden, when you're around them, you are more conscious in a sense, and they ask you questions uh, that are really like, they can truly see you. That's the whole thing. They can really see you. And just being in their energy, things wake up in both of you that are like soul memories. And you look at your life the way it is and you start to question it. Does it really feel real? Because something inside of your soul wakes up and it knows that we came for so much more than mundane existence. And it's beautiful when we can follow that. And it's usually our soulmate that gives us this courage to leave certain things behind that have served their time and to continue uh, forward on our path into the unknown and have courage and know that we'll be provided for and follow our heart and soul versus conform to the norm that everybody else conforms for. So our soulmates show up to help us live a life that is truer to who we really are, to not be afraid. Thank you, Mikey, for subscribing. To not be afraid to shine in our fullness, to exhibit our true colors. And a lot of times with soulmates, they unlock certain parts of our creativity And they're the ones that can look at your art and say, "Oh wow, this is amazing. You really need to do something with that." And you're like, "Really?" Because nobody else around you can see you, and you're shy about it. Uh, and it's beautiful when we connect. Although, like I said, a lot of times uh, it could really shake up your life. But even though it can seem chaotic and confusing, it always ends up better in the end if you just trust and follow. And hopefully, like you just turn more and more into listening to your soul. And the more you live in this frequency, the more you connect with other soulmates. And there could be in different levels of awakening. And if you are more awake, you can wake them up. And even if they're more asleep, their soul is still working with yours and they're contributing for your awakening. And just that comfort and familiarity that you feel around them, and that liberation to truly be yourself and talk about everything that you want. Hi, Bran. Thanks for subscribing for the channel. And yeah, I think you should tell your crush that you like her because then at least you're gonna have a resolution, right? And if she likes you back, it's wonderful and you can explore that. And if she doesn't like you in that way, um, you can continue to like yourself and find somebody else who likes you back, and your energy is not gonna be stuck. Okay, let's continue on soulmates after we answered Brand's question from the chat. So yeah, so soulmates give you good advice. And usually their advice is to follow your soul. So if you feel, you should do that, you should do it. And if you feel you shouldn't, don't do it. But deep down inside, and just do the thing that's true. Because sometimes we forget, we get lost in the society and these things of what we should be and shouldn't be and this, that, and whatever. And around soulmates, it's kind of like you can exhale and be like, oh, finally, and take off a bunch of masks and be there with your fears and your anxieties and your worries and your dreams and your curiosities and your whimsy and your brilliance and your genius and your passion and your love, uh, and all of it, and your pain and your grief and your sorrow. And they can handle all that. And they can see you for who you are, not for who they want you to be or who you want to be or who you think you are but you're not, and all this kind of illusion. So soulmates help us get more to truth and love and beauty and all of these beautiful virtues of the soul, and come back to our authentic original frequency and have the courage to continue to follow our unique path and to not be afraid to explore and make mistakes and feel alive in this life, and not put ourselves in boxes, not overstay our time in places that we should let go, or relationships or jobs, but just to continue forward and follow that spark and follow the divine, and uh, empty ourselves from all the old stories and allow something new and beautiful to unfold through us that we can share with the world, and and yeah, and just love more, but like really really love and love ourselves fully, and love the world for what it is, and instead of trying to fix it and look at all the problems, to be solution oriented and to just love it, love the humans, love the beauty, love all the creativity, love all the imperfection, and spread more of that love, make it go around, give our passion, like that quote of, instead of thinking what the world needs, think what makes you come alive and do that, and that's what the world needs. So this is what soulmates remind us, that there's beauty inside of us that wants to be shared, and there's passion and love. And, we can even alchemize the pain into beauty and share the grief and make other people feel they're not so alone. Uh, and yeah, that's what soulmates are for, to remind us that we come from the same place, and it's all oneness and unity. And and it's fun. Like, this whole thing is fun. And it's fun to have adventures with people that you barely know, but you feel like you've known them, and to abandon the mind and the logic for a while and simply immerse yourself in life without armor, and play.